Hello, I'm Jason and welcome to my comic book reviews. It's official, it is too hot in the UK to wear a hat. I usually do my reviews in my hat. I love my hat, but it is really hot. We've had like thunderstorms and stuff over the last 2 evenings, but it's still really humid. So shouldn't really complain because we don't really have that problem a lot here in the UK, so should make the most of it. But in case you're wondering, that's why there's no hat. So without further ado, I'm going to get into these reviews. I picked up 12 books this week. 2 were back issues of Captain Marvel. 1 was Uncanny X-Men, which I'm still catching up on, which leaves 9 books for review. So without further ado, I'm going to get into reviews. Hopefully that means this video might be under 20 minutes. Fingers crossed. Let's see if we can do it. So first up, we're starting off with Marvel. And I don't know how to kind of, is this book Original Sin Hulk vs Iron Man issue 2, or is it Original Sin issue 3.2? I don't know. The way Marvel numbers some of their books really makes it confusing. Anyway, this is the second issue of this story, and the secrets come out that Iron Man did something to the Gamma Bomb before Banner tested it that turned Banner into the Hulk. So this issue, both men, both Iron Man, both Hulk, are trying to discover the truth. And they both go about it in their own ways, kind of just trying and see what really happened at that point. So we get some flashback scenes show from way back when, showing kind of what happened. And then once the two characters know what's happened, they each have their own way of dealing with this. I really enjoyed this issue. I thought there was a lot of potential here in this story and the way it's building. And while I'm still a bit uneasy about the whole retconning kind of deal of like somebody's origin story, at least the way that they're doing it, I feel the characterizations are very consistent for where those characters were at that time. So at least from that standpoint, I feel it's been well done. I was a bit surprised that last issue was written by Wade. This issue is written by Kieran Gillen, who writes the Iron Man ongoing, which I really don't like. But Kieran Gillen does a good job here with this story, and the artist is a guy called, let's have a look, Luke Ross, who I really enjoyed his art on this issue. I'm going off Bagley a bit more. I'm not as big a Bagley fan as I was probably a year ago. I don't know what, his art really seems to have took a hit lately, and I don't know what it is about his art, but I'm not enjoying it as much as I was. So it was a real great to see a different artist on this issue, and I thought Luke Ross did a really good job with the issue. Like I say, I think this has a lot of potential, and I would give Hulk vs Iron Man issue number 2 or Original Sin 3.2, whichever way you want to number it. I would give it 4 stars out of 5. Did you see the dramatic pause there? Hey, I'm becoming a professional. Next up we have She-Hulk issue number 6. Oh my boy, what a disappointing issue. We conclude the story that started last issue with the Blue File, and it's kind of like it just ends so abruptly with no resolution whatsoever. They've got to go back to this story. Surely this is something they're going to come back to, because they can't leave it like this. It was just really rubbish. Like, why do we waste time following the story if it was just going to be dropped so abruptly? The art as well, I do not like. I don't like saying art is bad, because I always find things like art, like comic books themselves, it's a subjective thing. It's what you like or dislike. So rather than something being good or being bad, it's whether you like it or not. I think it's more the point. I don't know, maybe that's a load of tosh, but that's how I feel. But this artist is really not my bag at all. Really don't like this artist. I found at times it difficult to follow. I really hated how he drew She-Hulk as well. She looked more like a witch. I've been watching my way through New Who, getting ready for the new series starting, and there's a Doctor Who episode called Shakespeare Code with the witches, and with the Carrier Knights who look like witches, and it was like She-Hulk could easily have been one of the Carrier Knights, because this issue they drew her so like she's a witch. Yeah, so I was very disappointed. There was still some good stuff in here. I'm still liking the way the She-Hulk character has been written, and I'm really interested in the character of Angie and her monkey. There's something going on there. We've known from when we first met her, there's something about her, and I'm really enjoying the character. I'm really intrigued to see what's going on with her and what she's all about. But all in all, this was a disappointing issue, but I still feel there was some good stuff in it, so I'd give She-Hulk issue number 6 3 stars out of 5. So now we're jumping on to Magneto or Magneto, whichever way you want to pronounce it. Issue number 7, and this was just awesome. Colin Bunn is just doing some really bang up work on this book. It's so well written. The whole story is kind of, you've got the inner monologue from Magneto, and it's kind of told from his perspective, which I really like. The sense of justice here, where he did these people. Right, first I'll get to what's happened this issue, and then I'll get to the sense of justice. What's happened in this issue is that mutants have been disappearing in China. So Magneto goes in there to kind of find out what's happening, and you've got these people who have got some sentinel technology, and they're using it to find mutants and then put them in this pit to fight for their lives, for people's entertainment. And so Magneto's sense of justice here is that before he kills these people, he wants them to feel the same terror, the same emotions that their captives have felt, which I really liked. I know it's a bit dark and a bit twisted, but I really liked that, that it was real karma in action. They were going to get to feel how their captives felt before they died horribly. Like I said, I'm really enjoying this book. The art here was once again really good, and I like the use of colour when we have the flashback scenes. I like the use of colour and the way they were coloured so that they felt different from the rest of the issue. But I'm really loving this, and it's not a book I thought I would usually love, because each issue is kind of like a one and done story. There's this kind of thing running through it of this one character that we don't know if Magneto can trust, and is she setting him up, so we question her motives. But that's the only really thing that's following through. Every issue pretty much is a standalone story where Magneto finds people that have wronged mutants and kills them horribly. And I like some kind of more story that travels through, but I'm just loving this series, even though it's kind of as a one-shot kind of feel each issue. But yeah, this has just been fantastic, and I don't know how many ways I can say it's been brilliant, but I've tried to find as many as I can. But yeah, this is a really good book, definitely worth checking out, and I'd give Magneto issue number 7 a definite 5 stars out of 5. So now we're on to the New 52 Futures End from DC Comics. This is issue 11, and this was really good. I really enjoyed this issue. Out of this story, the only bit of the stories I'm not following, there's 2 bits I'm not following. There's the Lois Lane search thing going on, and then we've got the Cadmus Island stuff. They're the 2 bits of story I'm least liking. This issue, they're not in here, and I think that probably plays a big part in why I enjoyed this so much. Love the Frankenstein stuff. In this issue, basically what happens is you have Frankenstein, Amethyst, and Hawkman on a ship flying somewhere, and it's just Frank sitting there talking to Amethyst, and this dialogue between the two. Nothing else happens to the end of that scene. It's just them talking. But I could have had a whole issue of that. It was just brilliant. It's so well written, and I really felt engaged in their conversation, and I could have had a whole issue of that, and I wouldn't complain. We get to meet another new character, so that's cool, and it's another character who had a book cancelled, so it's cooler they're getting all these characters that have had books cancelled and rounding them up and putting them into this book. I think that's really cool, especially for fans of those characters who had those books cancelled. We get a big bit with the Justice League here and Firestorm, which I really enjoyed, and yeah, this issue, I just felt this issue was really, really good, and yeah, Futures End is building up. I'm still really intrigued to see how all of these stories are going to connect. But I'm just really enjoying the ride at the moment. I give Futures End issue number 11 5 stars out of 5. So next, back to Marvel with Nova issue number 19, and this is an original sin tie-in, as Nova kind of found out his dad was a murderer. So he's all the things he's kind of questioned or kind of felt he knew, he's now questioning. So he goes to Rocket, Raccoon of the Guardians of the Galaxy, to try and get some answers. And this guy that he knew that was in the vision with his dad, just happens to owe Rocket some money. So they go to this casino that this guy owns to try and get answers. I really enjoyed this issue. It's very intriguing where it's going. I liked the kind of partnership between Rocket and Nova. You've got Rocket, who likes his answer to everything is to blow it up, and he's very like battle hardened and experienced. You've then got the naivete of young Sam Alexander or Nova, and added to that he has a different approach to the things, and I just felt him and Rocket went together really well, and really made this issue very enjoyable. I like the whole ambiguousness at the moment of what Nova did, his dad Jesse did, and that like while it's been presented that he did things in this way, it certainly feels like that maybe Nova's dad was manipulated in this whole thing, much like in the story that his son gets manipulated. So I'm really intrigued by this story, and I really enjoyed this issue. As well, the art is done by David Baldion, who I recognise the name, but I'm not sure where from. But he does a really good job with the art, and yeah, all in all, I'm still really enjoying this book. Glad I jumped back on board. It's really accessible. You don't need to have read all the rest of Nova. You can jump in on this story, and it gives you all the information you need to be able to enjoy this story. So yeah, this was another good issue, and I'd give Nova issue number 19 5 stars out of 5. So now back over to DC, and it's Batman Eternal issue number 15. I was looking forward to this one. I loved that cover. I thought it was really good. The problem I had with this issue is the central story. This issue is Arkham Asylum, and of main characters there are Jim Corrigan, Batwing, and Joker's daughter. Those are 3 characters I don't really care about. I'm interested in the Spectre, but not so much in his human host, that Jim Corrigan. So we get those 3 characters, and 2 of those characters are placed in peril. It's very difficult to care about a story and the sense of peril if you don't care about the characters. If you don't care about the characters live or die, it's not going to resonate with you as much, and that was the problem I had with this issue. While there were things here going on in Arkham, and there's the feeling that there's a bigger force behind all this, much as there was with the gang war, and I like that whole feeling that all this chaos has been organised by someone, so that was good, and it links things together, so I liked that feel. And there is a kind of horror movie vibe to what's going on in Arkham Asylum, which also I really liked. But it all fell down for me because I didn't care about the characters in there. So I think that was a large part of why I didn't enjoy this issue. We then have Batwoman, who's on the cover there, and I was looking forward to seeing her. And we get her for about 1 page. And the way she turns up, her and Batgirl hardly ever leave Gotham, as much as I understand it. Red Hood travels around a bit, but Batwoman and Batgirl don't. And yet here they are, both out of Gotham into this South American country at the same time, after the same person. I felt was a bit much of a stretch, and felt a bit like lazy writing. Oh, how are we going to get Batwoman into the story? We're going to do this. So yeah, I didn't like that at all. So I was disappointed we only got Batwoman for 1 page. I also didn't like the what went down with Batman and Lieutenant Bard. I felt it was too soon after what happened last issue. I felt there should have been a bit of distance before that happened. So yeah, that felt too soon to me. What I did like about this issue, I loved the scenes with Harper Row and Red Robin, and I really like that partnership and that where that story's going. That's been really good. But the rest of it I was really disappointed in, and I think a lot of it's to do with just that, you know, either it was storylines that I was disappointed in or characters I didn't care about. So this issue I felt fell flat for me, and I would give Batman Eternal issue number 15 2 stars out of 5. So next up we have my pick of the week, and it is XFactor issue number 11. The fantastic thing about Peter David's writing is every issue he tightens things up. The tension builds and builds and builds. And while reading those issues, maybe as a standalone, you wouldn't get that. But when you're reading it issue after issue after issue, you can feel the tension, you can feel the story building and building and building. And that's what's happened here, and this is why this is my pick of the week, because this issue, just the way it built. And I don't know if you're not reading every issue, if you'd get that same kind of vibe, and if you'd be able to get that same kind of feeling, if it would resonate as much as if you'd read all 11 issues. But yeah, I'm loving how he's building the story, and the tension and things are mounted. We've got Harrison Snow, the owner of this company, who set up the superhero team, and he's found out that Gambit slept with his wife, so he left Gambit behind when he teleported the rest of the team. He's trying to make out it was an accident and the team are trying to get Gambit back. Gambit, who just happens to spend majority of the issue naked. If that's your bag, you'll love it. You'll love this issue. He's getting tortured. He reveals the name of Snow. Mentor Mori, this villain, he goes to Serval Industries to take them down. There's a couple of really cool twists with the story, and yeah, it gets tied up at the end, but you've still got that overarching thing of, is Gambit going to tell the rest of the team what he's done and why Snow maybe left him behind? And is that going to make them question other things? And is it going to expose that Snow isn't exactly a character you can trust? So yeah, it's building a lot of stuff up, and I'm really enjoying it. This issue as well, I've not been the biggest fan of the artist, whose name I will probably butcher, so I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it. It's in the middle there, if you want to have a go at mentioning that name. But yeah, the art, this issue, while I've not been a big fan of it in the past, this issue really convinced me and turned me around on the art, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought it worked well. But the story is just superb. Peter David is such a talented writer. I just always enjoy reading his books, and this was a mighty fine issue. And all new X Factor issue number 11 is my pick of the week. So we got 2 books left to review. First up, we have Original Sin issue number 6 from Marvel. On the cover it says, "Who pulled the trigger?" And of course, I know the cover, it doesn't show the Watcher, but I kind of thought we're going to get the answer of who shot the Watcher, and that was going to lead to more questions that would push the story for the next 2 issues. So yeah, so that's what I thought, but we don't. They're setting it up so it looks like it's Nick Fury, but I'm thinking it's too convenient and too obvious to be Fury, so I'm thinking there's going to be some kind of twist. We do at least get to find out what happened to the other eyeball that the Watcher had, so that was kind of cool. We get to find out why Fury put those teams together and what his overall agenda is with that team. The other heroes, they can't to catch up on stuff, and so they all come together. We've still got Exterminatrix and Minus in the story, so you gather they're going to play some kind of part in all of this as it goes down. But yeah, I'm still enjoying it. Like I say, I was disappointed because we didn't get like no real answers, even though they're setting things up. And a lot of the issue is people standing around talking, but you do at least feel like the story is moving forward by the end. So even though a lot of it is standing around talking, there was quite a bit of action as well. But you do feel at the end that the story is moving forward. Look, I'm becoming a massive fan of Mike Diagatto's art. His art is just, the book is so gorgeous, but it's also so consistent. It's really, really great. And like I said, I'm still enjoying this series, and I'd give Original Sin issue number 6 4 stars out of 5. So my final book this week is a one-shot, Robin Rises Omega. This I really enjoyed. I liked the beginning where we get this kind of flashback into the history between Batman, Ra's al Ghul, Talia al Ghul, Damian, how Damian came to be, and his childhood and his life, and how he was killed, and what Batman did. So it really fills you in on everything you need to know, and I think that not only makes this book really accessible, it fills in a couple of the blanks for me, because I never read Batman Inc., so I didn't know how Damian died, so it filled in some of the blanks for me. But also, I think it really helps it show you, well, what bits things of canon in the New 52, what things still happened. So I thought that worked on a number of levels, and I thought that was a brilliant way to open the book. We then get Godfrey, who wants this shard of crystal that Ra's al Ghul is hidden in Damian's coffin. Raz and Batman then team up to fight Godfrey of Apocalypse and the Parademons, and we get Frankenstein in there as well, which anytime I see Frankenstein I'm chuffed. But all in all, yeah, so it was good, and the story takes a few twists and turns, and it sets up this series really great. Really enjoyed this. I thought they did a cracking job. I was a bit disappointed at the end, because it felt like Batman had regressed, that he'd made all this progress, as much as you can do getting over the loss of a child. He had managed to get on with life, you know, and it feels like he's regressed to where he was, though that does make this an interesting story going forward, because we're dealing with a different Batman. We saw the lengths that he went before when he wasn't sure he could bring Damian back. Now he knows he can bring Damian back. What lengths will he go to? So I'm really intrigued with where we're going to go. I think this could be quite a dark tale with the type of Batman we're dealing with here. But all in all, it was great fun. I also really enjoyed the artwork. Cuba. Like, he opens the book up with, you know, the art is looking like this for the flashback scenes, and then once we get to the modern day stuff, it changes slightly. So I liked that and that usage. I also liked that the paper, it felt like it was the old school kind of paper, which I really liked. So yeah, I enjoyed this. I thought it was a great start, though I was a bit disappointed at the end with Batman Under Arrest. It does, though, leaving him in a place where it's going to make an interesting story, and I'd give Batman Rises Omega 4 stars out of 5. So there we go, that's my books for this week. The backup plan for the week ahead is hopefully, well no, definitely there will be a haul video that will be up Wednesday or Thursday at the latest. I will then hopefully have a review video up Friday, fingers crossed. I'm hoping for Friday. If it's not Friday, it may be a bit late. I'm hoping, because I'm off Thursday, so I'm hoping getting my books on Wednesday, read all my books Thursday, and hopefully have a review up on Friday. That's the backup plan, but as you know, plans don't always work out that way. A little side note, I want to thank everybody who gave opinions on what they wanted to see, so thank you for that. I've decided for now I'm going to keep to this format of the comic book reviews for now. Maybe review that in the future, we'll see how it's working, but certainly for now I'm going to stick with this format. Another little kind of date that went by, I'm into 2 years of doing these videos. It was July 2012 that I first started doing comic book reviews. It's amazing that 2 years already. It's become just a part of my weekly routine where I do the videos. I'm still really enjoying them. That's always been my primary motivation, that these are fun. It's a fun way to share my views on comics, and it remains fun, as I wouldn't be doing them still. I never expected to have as many subscribers as I've got, and I'm really thankful of that. Even though the number of subscribers grows, the number of views to my videos doesn't. I'm not quite sure how that works, but I'm thankful all the same. But yeah, 2 years, who would have thunk it? I hope that I've improved in the 2 years, but I wouldn't hold my breath. I still look at my videos sometimes and I see weaknesses, but maybe that's just how you view yourself anyway. You're always going to see the things you do wrong rather than the things you do right. Maybe that's just me. Anywho, that's enough of me rambling. Thank you very much for watching this video. I will be back on Wednesday, and leaves me to say is thanks for watching. I've been Jason. This has been my comic book reviews. Bye for now.